Prop 25, referendum on law that replaced money bail system based on public safety and flight risk. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that I'm going to vote no on this because although it does suck to have to post bail, it is costly. This system seems worse. It's kind of like if you've seen that Black Mirror episode, or if you know about China's social credit system, it's similar to that. It's like a minority report. Basically, algorithms determine whether or not you should be freed. So instead of you being able to post bail, a computer algorithm is going to determine whether or not you get to go free. So you won't even have the option of bail. It'll just be some computer algorithm that who knows is programming this algorithm. Who knows how the people who are going to be in charge of this are going to determine who gets to go free. So that's basically why I'm voting no. The summary is a yes vote approves and a no vote rejects law replacing money bail system with a system based on public safety and flight risk. Fiscal impact, increased costs possibly in the mid-hundreds of millions of dollars annually for a new process for a release from jail prior to trial. So that's the summary. Now if we get into the little bit of the fine print here, it says replaced the money bail system for obtaining release from jail before trial with a system based on a determination of public safety and flight risk. Again, that's the system, the algorithm that's going to be created that determines whether or not whoever creates the algorithm, or whatever party of people who create this algorithm, get to determine whether you are a risk or not. And obviously, if you go to jail, everyone goes to jail for different reasons, especially in California. Like I said, the laws here, I've said this in a video prior. The laws here, there's so many of them, you could get locked up for practically anything. Who knows what the risks will be? You can probably be a risk for probably anything. So this could probably make things worse, given that if someone's going to create an algorithm, and we already know how Silicon Valley is with their algorithms and the way they censor people just for their ideas and the things they say or the opinions they hold. So do you really want a system in California where people are already banned for speech to be banned for their freedom from, post bail early? These are the people who are going to be in charge of this bond. Limits detention of a person in jail before trial for most misdemeanors. So basically, if you're approved by this California social credit system, then you'll be able to go free. And if you don't approve of the social credit system that California is copying from this, the Communist Party of China, then who knows how long you'll be locked up before you can go to trial. Under the law, people generally are released from jail before trial in one of two ways. Own recognizance. Trial courts can release people on their own recognizance, which generally refers to a person's promise to appear at the future court proceedings. County sheriffs running jails can also release people on this own recognizance under certain conditions. Or you can post bail. People can be released on bail. Bail generally refers to financial guarantee that a person will appear in court as required. So that's generally how it works right now. Okay, so released on bail. Bail amount determined by each trial court. State law requires that the trial court in each county adopt a bail schedule. This schedule lists the amount of bail needed for the release of each crime. Bail schedules generally vary by county, but require more bail for more serious crimes. For example, the current Los Angeles County bail schedule requires $20,000 for forgery and $250,000 for arson of a home. Bail provided in two ways. These ways are provided by person to court. A person can provide cash, property, or other items to the trial court that equals the amount of bail required for the release. This is generally returned if the person appears in court as required. Provided by bail agent. A person can pay non-refundable fee to a bail agent to buy bail bond that is backed by an insurance company. This fee is typically no more than 10% of the person's bail amount. By providing the bond, the bail agent agrees to pay the full bail amount if the person does not appear in court as required. If this happens, the bail agent can seek repayment from the person. So like I said, bail sucks. It's definitely a financial burden on people, but this social credit system is definitely much worse. Like I said, you don't get to decide. You don't know who gets to decide whether you are free or not. So having the bail option, if you put up some collateral, at least you can get, if you don't have money, you could put up collateral and be released until trial. And if that's not an option, and the only option is that someone who programmed an algorithm, and if this algorithm is unfavorable to you, then you just stay in jail. You don't even get to get out. Fiscal effects. Proposition 25 would impact both state and local costs. The actual size of these effects is uncertain and would depend on how the proposition is interpreted and implemented. For example, it is unclear how many people the courts would release pre-trial and the conditions they would be required to follow. As such, the effects could be higher or lower than the estimates below. And the estimates below read as increased state and local pretrial release costs. The new pretrial release process would increase workload for state trial courts, as well as county district attorneys and public defenders. Additionally, state costs would increase as state trial courts would be responsible for pretrial assessment. State costs. When they say state costs, that basically means the taxes from you and me, because state costs means it costs the people who live in the state. The state would also likely have increased supervision costs, such as due to an increase in the number of people being supervised after being released pre-trial. In total, increased state and local pre-trial costs could be in the mid-hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Impact on state and local tax revenues. This proposition would impact both state and local tax revenues. For example, people could buy goods with money that would have otherwise been spent on bail bond fees. If these goods were subject to sales tax, this would increase both the state and local tax revenues. The total net impact on the state and local tax revenues is unknown. So it's kind of up in the air. They're like, we don't really know how much it's going to cost the state because we're going to have to implement it first and figure out how many people are committing crimes, and then how many of those crimes are going to have to be subject to the algorithm to determine who's going to be released. Anyways, so that's Proposition 25. Like I said, I'm voting no on this because it is, like I said, it's like the minority report. It's a social credit system. Vote no on Prop 25.